Welcome to a very special Christmas edition of the Fandom Outpost. I missed out on our Thanksgiving one, which if you guys haven't checked it out, go back and check it out. It's very funny. So this is a Christmas one that we're kind of doing. But first, right, I am back again. So I am 1/3 your host. I am Mark.
I'm Jim.
And I'm Bob. Hi, everybody.
There we go.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And if you see in front of us an array of, I guess, Godzilla paraphernalia, Jim and I, since childhood, have been big Godzilla fans. And then there's a new one out called Godzilla Minus One. And Robert was just championing this movie. I mean, championing.
Rightly so.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure if I was going to go see it. I didn't have time to go see it, but I came up today to watch it with them and was not disappointed. So thank you for that. I tried to hold on. I thought, well, okay, but yeah, the end of it and then the nostalgia, the music that we'll talk about stuff. Yeah, all wrapped up. It got me. So I started getting the feels. I could hear this guy going over going, damn. I could hear whispering about it.
Try not to fall into the trap of overselling something because then it doesn't live up to, to your. I was overselling it, but I'm glad it's good enough to be. It was good enough of a movie to
live up to the hype.
Yeah, live up to the overselling because I'm all over this movie.
I don't think if he oversold it though, I probably wouldn't have been like, I'll come out early today and watch it because I think I might have just been like, I'll wait for streaming, But I'm telling you guys. He loved this movie so much that, like, for 2 days, it was in, well, more than that, actually. I would say peppered in for about a week. It was in our little conversations every now and then. And again, it is called Godzilla Minus One. We're going to let him talk because, man, he's got the fire for this thing. A lot of stuff doesn't come along that he gets that fire for.
Yeah.
And so when he does, I think it's a really good radar, folks. So whether or not you listen to us and then you go check something out, it's really when somebody gets that fire and passion, it works on us the same way it would work on anybody else.
As far as movies this year, the only one that's kind of had the hype for me was the Oppenheimer movie, and that's the whole Barbenheimer stuff. But I know you love that.
But wouldn't you say we have Oppenheimer to thank for the creation of Godzilla? In a roundabout
there is a roundabout way of connecting it, right? There's about a 5-second scene in there that probably it's
that Bikini Atoll, man.
Yeah,
every time it's in
testing.
Yeah, it's 90% of these Godzilla movies. That Bikini Atoll.
I didn't quite catch that, and we'll get into it the first time because Jim and I saw it on our own last week, right?
Yeah,
and then so we gathered Mark up to see it before we did our recording. So
right.
Now we have it kind of fresh in our mind, and it's always interesting to take a second look at a movie and see how it hits you the second time. And it really still hit me pretty strong the second time because going into it today, I was like, probably just, I know what's going to happen and this and that. But there's about 5 scenes in that where the dialogue and the acting just gets you right. It's just perfect.
In the feels is what you're trying to say. It gets you in the feels.
Credit to the director for crafting a giant monster movie can be either really
hit or miss, right?
Right. It's either over the top. Godzilla movies either fall into, there's one camp that is very people centric in the story, and then there's another camp that's very just all out monsters fighting like wrestlers, and they're both fine. They both have merit.
It's a different feel,
but there's a different feel of it, and you will mostly find that most Godzilla movies, they really don't have a people story.
Right.
So.
Right.
The last one that may have, right, was Shin
Godzilla.
Shin Godzilla, yeah.
I did catch up. I'm not, and then it's funny when we mention Godzilla movies, I think whoever you talk to about it always has to tell kind of where they fit in their fandom of Godzilla. Like, well, I've been a Godzilla fan since I was a kid.
Yeah, where you got on the train.
Yeah, it's like, well, I followed it, but I'm not really, I didn't watch all of them, but I watched all the Saturday afternoon ones on the horror movies on local TV or whatever,
right.
UHF TV. But, so it's funny that you kind of have to. Well, I've been a Godzilla fan for X amount of years, and I've not been a huge Godzilla fan. It's been on my radar, but I know you guys are a lot more into it, know a lot more of the characters and
Well, we grew up with Godzilla because I mentioned that State Wayne Theater. It's a local theater here up in Michigan, and they used to run. They would have double features there a lot,
Right.
and we would see them. And that was our. I don't know if that was the introduction or if it was the TV creature feature that was the introduction.
Right. So in the Detroit area, and I know they've had it in other areas. ABC had the 4:30 movie.
Yeah.
Which, so you would run home from school as a kid, and 4:30 movie could be. They usually have a themed week. So for us,
right.
So for us, there were themed weeks like Planet of the Apes week,
Right.
and then there was like Nature Gone Wild week, and
Mm-hmm.
there was always Godzilla week, and that's usually.
And you hope that with those 5, you got
the good ones.
You got the good ones, not.
And 9 times out of 10, they were. It was usually the Sea Monster, Son of Godzilla.
Sea Monster, Mecha Godzilla, Son of Godzilla. There's a Megalon in there.
Yeah.
Is that the dude that is that the guy that does the fireball thing? Or
Yes.
Yeah, so Megalon was in
Big
there.
Cockroach.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah. And then something else. So you always got kind of the best. Destroy All Monsters.
Yeah,
that was on Fridays usually. So, but coming up from that, I do remember to tell really quickly that there was it stopped. Godzilla here in America just stopped. And I think for whatever it was, nobody was like interested anymore. And then I started going to conventions and I would get the VHS tapes of what I call like my second Genesis, because literally somebody once told me, it was like, the special effects that they're doing rival anything we got here in America.
Yeah. There was a lot of conventions at the time were selling bootleg tapes.
Yeah.
And it was like the only way you were ever going to see a Godzilla movie made
was get through the bootlegs. Yep.
To get a bootleg
and I
tape.
did. I got
them at home.
I got a hold of their new Mecha Godzilla one, which was like the people of Earth defending. They built the Mecha Godzilla to fight Godzilla. Excuse me. He didn't come from outer space or anything like that. Space aliens was a big thing.
Well, Godzilla was also kind of like a hero or an anti-hero, right? It was kind of
right.
like,
so he's either like a force of nature, an anti-hero, or straight up hero, right?
Yeah.
Which is odd for a character through the years, but it makes it interesting, I guess, right?
Well, I think in order to bring him back, this is just speculative, I think in order to bring him back, you had to kind of do something different. You couldn't otherwise you'd be making the same movie, right? Where like everybody just tries to fight him, meaning like little people, us.
Yes.
Like that would go old really fast unless you had to.
Right.
Would you say wrestling of monsters?
Yeah, this is the MMA with monsters.
Yeah, the MMA with monsters. And
so
stuff,
this new movie is really a retelling of the 54 film, right?
Yeah.
The original?
Yep, that's what I'd say.
Taking it on Godzilla's first appearance in Japan, but telling it from a different story perspective and giving you a little more history of Japan and post-war Japan.
Oh, wow, that was fantastic, too.
Which was really fresh and super interesting and very compelling.
We don't see that.
No, as Americans. Especially as Americans.
Especially as Americans.
Like
you're not used to seeing what's going on behind the government.
Absolutely.
Right.
With the citizens. And a lot of this movie is about... They're very anti-government.
Yeah, they were like our government drug us into the war, and
these are people
sacrificed us to like a meat grinder, and we were not happy with it.
Yeah, the characters in there were not happy, and it takes place in I'd say the 40s. It doesn't quite go to 50, but right?
Yeah, 47.
47. Yeah, so and it is very like the destroyed Tokyo is kind of like, it makes you a little cringeworthy because you're like, they talk about the American air raids, and you're like, ugh.
The main character, who is the kamikaze pilot who
just couldn't go through with it.
Right.
Before that scene in Tokyo, it's not Tokyo, it's Ginza, I think it was.
No, Tokyo's when he comes back. He lives in Tokyo. Ginza's where she goes to work.
Right, but that's where Godzilla attacks Ginza when she's on the train.
Oh, yeah, when it does attack.
And he does the fireball.
Yeah.
And our kamikaze pilot, main star, says, I've seen this before.
Right.
That kind of got me. This time was like, oh, man. Because it's like complete annihilation, like an atomic wind.
Yeah, and whether or not this was a... I don't know where it fits in. Like if it's was it a Toho Studios?
Yes,
that's their logo at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
So whether or not they're rebooting their franchise and they're like, waiting to see how the reaction is to this, because I cannot imagine anything but favorable reaction, because as Jim said earlier, with the human story in this, if you I hate to say it, if you basically took Godzilla out of this, you'd really have a compelling human drama,
Right.
full of emotion, just the gamut of
It
emotions.
could have been a storm or a tornado. Or
Yeah,
it
it was really
natural disaster.
powerful.
type
Yeah, I
thing.
took my teenage daughter Sarah to see this, and she vehemently, she was like, "Oh, I hate this movie," and she says it because it put her through the ringer in the feels, is what it did, and she was not expecting that.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
And
She was like, with the chasing of the boat.
yeah,
she was like this.
Oh, nice, nice.
So,
Well,
that
I
was
was
a good scene.
I was
That was a
waiting to
great
hear like I admit I got caught up. I got the feels towards the end. I was like, I'm not going to get the feels out of this, man. I'm not. That's not me. I mean, this ain't that kind of way. But at the end, I felt my eyes going. And I was like, man, am I lumping my throat and stuff? And then I got to say this: there's a wonderful use of nostalgic music
yes,
that anybody who's a Godzilla fan is going to recognize the march.
Yeah.
And I was doing okay, and then that hit, and I was like, oh, okay, there it is. Like, it just really got you, and the boats are chasing, and you're like, man, that was it.
And
like,
the protagonists that came together to fight Godzilla, they were tired of. They're like, look, we're not doing this so that we can die. We're doing this so that we can
and they're
live.
misfits.
Right? They're
They're all this like weird group of misfits,
Average
average Joe Schmoes, and you're like, oh my god. By the way, folks, this has nothing to do with the current Adam Wingard MonsterVerse that we're making here in America.
Correct.
It has nothing to do with that. It's not part of it. He's got his own thing going on. Huge fan right here. I love those movies. Those are fun, no matter what.
I'm glad that we'd get both. Actually.
Yeah, I'm all in.
A treat for us.
But we haven't had one since that Shin Godzilla. So
from Toho, no.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, if you notice at the beginning of this, it said 70th anniversary.
Yeah.
Well, next year is really the 70th anniversary, but there is a one of the new ones, the U.S. ones coming out next year, and I think there's a thing where you can't have two of the same.
Godzilla, well, that Godzilla X Kong is due next year, I thought.
Yes.
So, and I mean, I'm all in on that thing.
So
the gauntlet. Like I just think.
If you check out our YouTube, we put up the trailer for that. That looks fun.
Oh my god!
On Facebook.
I'm sorry, on Facebook. Yeah.
So it's just fun, but
I mean, I also wanted to ask you guys because I'm sure we all felt there was a little connection with Jaws.
Absolutely.
And it just
I mentioned
it rang all the bells. Of,
right.
Oh my god, this is like
that I could have watched a 2-hour movie with our boat crew because it was interesting.
I love the boat
Minesweeper boat crew that we had.
The doc, the kid, and basically the captain.
The captain and our pilot.
And the pilot was the main star.
And using the irradiated fish from the lower depths like they were barrels.
Yeah.
From Jaws.
Yeah.
Those signify Godzilla was near when those popped up.
But hey man, I learned something new every time I watch one of these movies, how they're like, oh, we can do this. And if this is set in, like you said, 47, coming up with the ingenuity for the film and the time frame is really cool because we're spoiled now. We just assume we have all this technology and we can do all this stuff. Somebody once told me, or I once read when Jaws first came to TV, Jaws is basically 2 movies. The first one is a suspenseful horror movie, and then the back end of Jaws is a buddy cop picture.
Right.
Because it's just those guys on the boat. I think of that every time something creeps in my head about Jaws. So I thought about that, the buddy cop thing, because the end of this movie is, there's more than the 4 characters.
Right.
It felt like that vibe. I mean? You had the suspenseful horror, then you got to kind of go kill the shark.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So all these guys together and stuff. And
they just did a wonderful job of building you care about all these characters, even the ones that were only in for maybe 3, 4, 5 scenes.
Right. There's a very found family aspect of this movie through tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also a very like a unfulfilled mission or PTSD.
A lot of PTSD.
and
Yeah.
survivor's guilt.
Survivor's guilt. Yeah.
And there was one other issue I was thinking. Yeah, right. The
Government.
the kind of a nuclear family
Mistrust.
being put together.
Right.
Mistrust of the government, and there's so many good themes in a film that was so tightly constructed. That's the thing. I just love how it's put together. We mentioned the kind of dips, each kind of little vignette.
Yeah, there were quite a few scenes that just kind of faded out, almost like you were watching a play.
Right.
Like
I
the
love
scene
that
faded
technique.
to black.
It just quietly puts you like, okay, that scene's over. We're moving on to the next.
And I think those quiet scenes help make things like when Godzilla attacks and it's really loud. I think that kind of helps with the dichotomy of
the
that.
cool thing that I like about it is like I didn't feel like. So for me, it clocks in at what 2 hours and something,
Yeah.
and I didn't feel like there's any downtime because you didn't need the monster to show up to kind of kick it to the next stage.
Did you like his first appearance, and were you surprised it was that?
Yeah, because I thought again that whole I was like, wow, okay.
We could talk spoilers. We should probably talk spoilers. I mean, this is going to be a month by the time it's
right. Well, he shows up, and he's not. We don't really have an explanation why he shows up. Fairly early, and he's maybe 50 feet tall, maybe
bigger than a T-Rex.
Yeah, he's bigger than a T-Rex. But he's not quite as big as maybe Kong was.
Right.
The new modern Kong and stuff. But he looks different.
Very, very dinosaur-like.
Yeah, and that was cool. And he's got a healing factor now that I don't think they've ever talked about before.
Wolverine or Deadpool now.
Well, I didn't quite catch it.
He didn't have like a baby arm when he was doing this.
That's gross.
I didn't quite catch the first time viewing, and not, like I said, not being steeped in Godzilla lore. But in this movie, they just do a quick Bikini Atoll scene with maybe a MacArthur shot or something. And then you see his eye kind of getting affected.
Right. Yep. Right.
And then that's it. So that implies that he's gotten radioactive.
Which is interesting because they, having just recently started watching the Monarch show, the Bikini Atoll test is in there.
Yeah, that shows up in quite a few of these things in their legend and stuff. So, and I will say this, it's a Japanese movie, outstanding for them because there was a plausible way that they kept, because if a giant monster shows up in the world, you think everybody's going to want to go get a piece of this thing or do whatever. But there's a plausible explanation why the Soviets and the Americans don't want to get involved. So
they wrote us out nicely.
Yeah, they wrote us out nicely. So it's their movie, which is awesome. Unfortunately,
citizens have to band together.
Yeah, and
because the government wants to sweep it under the rug. It seems like pretty much.
Yeah.
It seemed like But I also love the character, and one more character is the engineer guy, the maintenance guy, the
aircraft maintenance
from the island. Who held it against the pilot that he didn't, and he shamed him, and
the pilot had an opportunity to hurt Godzilla. He wouldn't have killed him.
Right.
Honestly, and if you took that pilot off that island, those guys are still getting what's happening to them anyways.
Yeah. So that's that survivor's guilt and PTSD and
a redemption.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
There's a lot of what you think is going to happen at the end, and then there's a couple you don't think is going to happen at the end,
And then there's a open-endedness of something to come.
Right, of course. So, like I said, I think they got to test the waters, no pun intended, to see
I think
if it's really good.
The waters have been doing pretty well.
Yeah,
so it's not going to play for long, folks. So
it may be gone by the time you see.
By the time you see this, it might be gone. But
it could be at streaming or.
Hopefully, they'll extend the run somehow. I thought I read something, but I don't know if it'll be around here. But maybe they'll extend it to different areas.
Well, we saw it this morning at 10:20, and didn't have a full house, but
for a morning
for 10:20 in the morning,
it was in a smaller.
There's quite
theater,
a few people that saw it.
Yeah.
So we have this weird love or hate relationship, I think, with Godzilla. We don't know how to be about those giant monster movies. Our horror is, this guy and stuff. That's what we love. But you never hear about that crossing over the Atlantic or Pacific and doing really, really well. But this guy,
Yeah.
No pun intended. He could come over to us and we could love all this stuff. And,
Right. He's a metaphor for war. He's a metaphor for atrocities, nature.
The force of nature.
The things you can't control.
Can't control, right.
Another movie that it kind of reminded me of was Train to Busan. I would give a little bit of feel for that, where you have a character who's trying to care for people in just an incredible situation. I kind of felt that had a little
You've seen this, right?
vibe of that.
Train to Busan?
Yeah. I love Train to Busan, by the way. Folks, I don't think we've talked about that one, even when we went through our zombie stuff, but
we'll talk to it at some
I wanted
point.
to throw that out. Just a little red meat for you.
Yeah, recommended highly. That movie, not the sequel, or they did that other one.
Oh, yeah.
Train to Busan Presents. No.
I mean,
catch the original one.
This would be a good double feature with it, wouldn't it? This Godzilla Minus One and Train to Busan.
Yeah, probably
good
would.
double feature.
Yeah, I would probably be crying by the end of it all.
Oh my God!
I know, it's not exactly the
feel-good holiday hit.
It's going to hit you.
Well, Train to Busan's a Korean film,
correct.
which came out of nowhere, and we're not going to talk about that, right? But that's one of those things like this.
What's your
If I
impression of it,
caught to see it in the theaters, I would have been like, "Oh my
I would
God!"
have told everybody to go. See
I would
it.
have told everybody to go see it. So instead, I had to catch it on streaming through word of mouth. And
I was
stuff.
doing like a zombie list of movies or something, and I'm like, "Oh, what's that one?"
Yep.
Just happened to stumble on it, and I'm like, "Oh my God!"
That's I love that movie. It's got to be in a top 10 of all-time zombie movies, whether camp or seriousness, but this one takes it serious. This is one of your serious zombie invasion movies.
I really want, as far as Godzilla Minus One, this is what I really want American movies to be like, a little bit more than what they have this past year. I know there's been a
little
more
character development.
A little more character development. And it kind of reminded me of just seeing movies when I was younger. It was just like you cared about characters, just like Jaws.
Yeah.
And you know, it wasn't all about the shark.
But I think
it had.
We're living in a time, and we'll come up on a future thing talking about the state of films and whatnot.
Right.
But we're living in a time where people have very short attention spans, and if you don't grab it in the first couple minutes and you don't keep it going, then they're out.
Are those movies doing well, though? We'll have to see. That's the only thing. I don't know. Movies that are like bam, 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 the Aquaman, that kind of stuff. I don't. That's what it was. It's to be determined. I guess.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna have we're gonna do a year-end special that's going to talk about kind of our views and opinions of the state of the movie industry, and hopefully we'll touch on little things like this, because this is just a hidden gem, folks. Like, no matter where you're going to get to see it, you at least got to see it. Okay, that's the way I feel.
It's subtitles.
You know,
I know
it's subtitled.
Some people don't go for that, but
right. But if it comes to streaming,
if you don't go for that, go for that.
Yeah, they might get a dubbed version, but I don't know. So I would not recommend it. I would recommend doing the subtitles. Yeah, right. You just get more emotion that way. So,
for our year end, we are working on getting a special guest.
Special guest, special to us. Anyway.
Special to us. Yes,
you guys might not even care.
It'll be special to everyone.
Very special to us.
We're working on that's in the work.
Yep. So I got to give that thing probably, if we're still doing our crates on this stuff.
Out of 5, is it?
Yeah, I think it's out of 5. I mean, it's got to be. I got to say 4.5.
Yeah,
can't quite give it a 5, but
4.5.
4.5. It's up there for me. Yeah.
I can't imagine anything that I liked better this year. So
I
go 5.
I go 5. Yeah, no, I do.
I've told everyone I've run into that likes movies to go see it.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, he didn't even champion Oppenheimer this.
I was like, I enjoyed it. I love the technical aspect of how it was made and the 70 millimeter.
Okay.
I mean, but
I didn't see it, folks. I missed that one. I saw Barbie. I saw Barbie.
Yeah. I didn't get to see that either.
Yeah, I saw Barbie.
I wanted to see that.
So Barbie
there's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
it was original.
There's movies for everybody. This one just really got me. So.
Yeah, no matter what you like, there's a Godzilla there somewhere for you. Even
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, you want the B movie Godzilla? You want
right? And and a lot of people poo-poo the American one with Matthew Broderick, and I don't do that. If someone likes that, just let them like that. That's
like it.
That was the thing that got them interested in Godzilla. So
and for us folks, it kept it in the zeitgeist. So it kept Godzilla out there, you know what I mean? Until I believe the story goes like the guys in Japan saw it and was like, nah.
Yeah, don't screw us up.
Yeah, don't.
But he's in He's known as Zilla in Japan.
Right. So they tried to keep him
And
in the
he
continuity.
shows up in one of those. For later.
He does. He shows up as, I think, a smaller version,
He
doesn't he? Or
gets-
something like
gets his
that.
ass
But
handed to him.
yeah, but he does. Yeah. I didn't care for that one, but you're right. It's somebody's Godzilla movie, and if we went out for that, we wouldn't get the current MonsterVerse that we have. And I understand everything's got to be connected, but
Yeah, we can relax on that. It
yeah.
doesn't have to be
So
connected.
yeah, whatever. I like the MonsterVerse being connected, but that's because it showcased 3 different heavy hitters.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
No, the monster
you know,
stuff is I'm good with that.
So I think that's a nice little present for us for December, right? And we
Yeah.
got,
Yeah,
that was a
unexpected
good one,
surprise,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
happy to
I
see
mean,
that.
it's,
Okay, here's the question though. Here's the question. So when it comes out, somehow to get it, I
it's a
know
day
you're
one
getting it.
for
Yeah,
me.
I know
Yeah,
you're
physical,
getting it. Day one.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
physical media.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm on it,
which we should
so-
have a show about physical media.
Yeah,
Man.
we'll have to
That is
have
getting
it.
so much attention right now. But
I mean, there's been a Scorsese movie. I haven't, who's one of my favorite directors, but I haven't even seen that yet.
Yeah, I didn't see that. There's a new, Napoleon with Ridley
Napoleon,
Scott.
Ridley
Haven't
Scott.
seen that.
Haven't
that's
seen
out
that.
at Christmas, though. I thought so. That
No,
I
it's
don't-
Ferrari.
Oh, that's right. It's
Yeah,
Ferrari.
Ferrari's
Well, that's
coming. I'm looking
Michael
forward
Mann.
to that. I want to see that one. I think I'm going to hit that one
yeah.
in theater, but
Okay.
I haven't seen Napoleon or Flowers.
I'll probably pass on Flowers. Maybe wait to streaming. I would like to see Napoleon in theaters. I think Ridley Scott does the epic very well.
Right.
But I think he shoots for these. You got to catch on the big screen, you know.
Got Aquaman coming.
Coming
So
up soon.
the question is how much Amber Heard gets cut out of that, which is probably going to be almost all of it.
That's controversy right there. Excuse me. I'm not.
And then a handful of little second tier.
Yeah, there's a couple other things coming.
We saw the International Space Station.
ISS.
ISS looks good
Beekeeper looks interesting.
what is it?
Beekeeper looks fun.
Beekeeper's just fun. I'm sorry, guys. I love my action movies, and the Beekeeper is returned to form for Jason Statham, so good for him.
So there's some stuff on the horizon, but should we turn back the clock now?
We should turn back the clock. Jingle some bells.
It's a quick
Jingle
little,
some
maybe
bells.
10, 15 minute quick recap of our favorite Christmas moments from past.
What do we want to talk? Do we want to talk movies? Do we want to talk
Well, what's
TV
your
specials? What is
TV specials? We all are in the Rankin Bass.
right? That's
I mean,
that's when I knew the Christmas season officially started.
Absolutely.
As soon as Rudolph hit, I'm good. It's on.
Yeah.
And like my wife loves the Heat Miser, Snow Miser.
Right, Year Without a Santa
Year Without
Claus.
Santa Claus. That is hers. And
Rudolph's Shiny New Year.
No, I don't. That's not
No,
me.
No.
It's usually what Santa Claus is coming to town.
Yeah, that's the Meister Burger one.
That's mine. That's what I love. That's the
You got
That's where he's young Chris Kringle.
yes. That's the one I
yeah.
love with the old wizard,
Santa Claus.
Winter
coming to town.
Warlock.
Winter Warlock.
Winter
yeah.
Warlock.
Yeah.
Warlock.
You
That's
got-
my fave. So that's how I knew.
You got Rudolph
Christmas
with
was coming.
Rudolph with Burl Ives.
the
with
bubble-
his
the bubble.
Bumble. Yeah,
no so
Bumble.
bright. Won't you get my sleigh tonight?
Something like that.
Got those, and then third is the Holy Trinity of Christmas is the Year Without
Year Without
Santa
Santa Claus. Yeah,
That's the three that are kind of like I have to.
Oh.
There's some little ones in there too
Little
that I
Drummer
never.
Boy.
Yeah, that I never
Right,
knew
Little
they
Drummer
made.
Boy.
I was like, oh, okay.
Which there's a lot that don't get shown anymore.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, not all of them get shown, but that's how you knew the Christmas season was coming.
Right?
You
Charlie
sit down
Brown
and just
shows
get
up.
that one. Charlie Brown shows up, not as big
With
as he
his
does
depressing
at.
ass Christmas.
And what?
It's depressing ass Christmas.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude, they put the ball on it. It's
Right.
all. And then what's
so
her
they
name?
killed a tree that was barely alive.
Yeah, no doubt. And then who's the girl that guy come in and rip everybody new
Oh,
asshole?
Peppermint Patty?
No.
Oh, Lucy?
Yeah.
Lucy. She rips everybody new asshole because Chuck's trying so hard, and they're like, "Oh, I guess we should." And then they wrap the thing around it, and it suddenly gets erect.
Are there any movies now that are current? Not really current, but I mean, there really hasn't been like a good Christmas movie in I think Elf is
Alpha's
18 years old, or it's
Isn't that crazy?
It's
Yeah.
pretty
Old
old.
like that.
And it's like the last one that kind of
And
made
you
a
were
mark.
mentioning Love Actually. We talked about that was at the
That's at the theater
showing
right
there.
now.
A list
Yeah,
of
we
stuff
said.
showing at the theater.
My wife loves Love Actually. I like it as far as a Christmas movie goes. I think it's very entertaining and it's sweet, except for one.
Yeah,
of the
Helen Rickman's
vignette.
kind of a dick.
Yeah, one of the vignettes. I don't really like to watch it because of that. But she loves it, and my daughter's never seen it, so she's getting trapped this year to watch it with us. So.
Goodness.
And I'm starting a new tradition, which is we're going to watch Die Hard every Christmas.
you're gonna do it now?
Yep, we're going to start
You're gonna
now.
embrace it finally.
Yeah, I told everybody this year. I said When you come over, we're watching Die Hard for Christmas. So
I think Gremlins is a Christmas story.
yeah, I would say that
That
too.
also traumatized my daughter when I took her to see it.
And I was watching Step Brothers on cable.
Oh, Step Brothers.
They had when they're sleepwalking and they're bringing
Oh
the
my
tree-
God.
the tree into the bedroom, and throw the dad down the stairs. The one that has grown on me a little bit over the years, you guys probably won't like it, is Christmas with the Cranks.
Christmas with the Cranks.
Jamie
I'm not
Lee
a
Curtis.
fan. Yeah,
Jamie Lee.
it's
I
fun.
like her in that. She's
Yeah,
fun.
it's
It's like
fun.
a different take for her.
Eddie Murphy's got a new one out this year.
Yeah, Candy Cane
Cane
Lane.
Lane. Yeah.
Yeah,
Haven't seen that yet.
I passed on that
Did you
when I
pass
saw
on
it.
that?
Yeah, I don't know. And let me ask you guys a quick question. So, do you guys watch them Hallmark movies?
Mm,
Chris-
Oh,
Christmas?
they're on. You mean the one where the plot's all the same?
Yeah, because that's been coming up a lot lately this year.
yeah, there's quite a few of those, and fortunately, it's not on in this house. So we
Yeah.
never really watch it.
Yeah, we don't watch them either. So it's terrible that besides the Rankin Bass, which we grew up on, we can't really. There's maybe one or two Christmas movies that can come to mind. You know what I mean? That
Well, It's a Wonderful Life
Yeah,
was
it's
always a
Miracle on
God,
34th
you just had to
Street.
shoehorn that thing in.
34th Street.
I
Right?
can't.
When I was a kid, I remember watching Miracle on 34th Street, the original.
The black and white one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the cane at the end in the corner. You're like, oh my God. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite
It's kind
Christmas
of a
movie.
magical-
That's one really good. That gets me. Then they colorized it, so I'm like, it doesn't look as
Well, then
good.
they did
Yeah.
it with John Hammond from Jurassic
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that one's okay. That one's got a couple really good
Santa
scenes in
brought
it.
dinosaurs to life.
But-
That's how that happened, you know.
Oh my god!
And on that note,
Go wherever you can find it. Check out Godzilla Minus One,
Absolutely.
absolutely, thumbs up.
and if you want to comment about perhaps you are a Godzilla fan or not, tell us your favorite. And then Christmas movie. Let us know
let
what's
us know
your
favorite Christmas
favorite
movie.
Christmas movie. It should be Die Hard, so I'm throwing that out there because that's the best Christmas movie ever
Wasn't
of all
there
time.
First Blood had a.
Yeah, no, every First Blood has a Christmas scene.
That's got a
The
Christmas
sheriff
scene to it.
office
The
up in
sheriff-
the
there
sheriff's
are.
office, is right.
There are.
He
Well, there's
falls through
a
a pine tree.
there's
Yeah.
that fan theory that like First Blood, Lethal Weapon, Die Hard,
They're all
it's
connected.
all connected
Yeah.
in the same universe and stuff.
I
So
like it. I'm on board
yeah,
with
it's
that.
kind of funny to me.
Well, I'm going to be checking out Krampus this Christmas.
Oh, I've never seen any of the horror movie ones.
I wanted to see the David, the Stranger Things guy.
Oh, David Harbour one where he's
Yeah,
Santa Claus.
he's Santa
Yeah,
Claus,
that
and
looked
they
good.
try to rob whatever.
Absolutely. That
That-
looked
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, I would like to see that. I think it's out
Yeah.
there now, so I do want to see
They're
that.
always called like Silent Night,
Yeah,
Deadly
they're always-
Night, or
right.
they're all like similar.
Why don't they just call it what it is? Santa's going to kill you.
Yeah.
There's your title right there.
There's Fat Man with Mel Gibson.
Yeah, there is Fat Man with Bogan.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. Fat Man, that's
I haven't
right.
seen it, but I saw.
I've seen
it
parts
come
of it.
up.
I forgot all about that. Oh my gosh. And believe it or not, oh no, that's Easter. Never
It was
mind.
Black Christmas,
Black Christmas.
which is
Yeah.
a great horror movie. It's
Yeah,
an old
I need
one,
to watch
but-
that.
Didn't they
So,
remade it like 4 times already?
But that's a good one if you want like a
a nice-
early '70s that vibe.
And if you can find the old Tales from the Crypt movie from the 70s,
Right.
that has a Christmas vignette in there,
Oh my God.
as well as they redid it for the TV show. Yeah.
Sorry, one of the greatest Christmas tunes of all time is sitting right in front of Bob, and we didn't even bring it
Oh
up.
God!
We have
yeah.
yet to
Oh
dis-
my
to
God.
discuss the Grinch.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
didn't
didn't
bring
even
it
talk
up.
about that. And they remade it with Cumberbatch
Cumberbatch, the animated one, Cumberbatch,
Yeah.
and of course the live action.
and live action Jim Carrey, and they're all actually outstanding as
Right.
far as I think
They're all
Grinch
good.
movies go.
I'm going to tell you a quick anecdote on the Grinch, on that Grinch right there.
Yeah.
Narrated by Boris Karloff, was at a convention and his daughter was there.
Oh,
And she was kind of giving a talk, and somebody had asked her about the Grinch, and she said, well, her dad just kind of did it because he did voiceover stuff and he did children's records. And
Oh.
he ended up going to his agent's office one day, and the agent goes, here, Boris. He's like, what's that? And it was like he had won a Grammy for that.
oh my God.
And Boris Karloff being very not like yeah, he's like, nah, I can't take that. It's like, here. And as he left the office, he took it and he put it as a doorstop for his agent.
Oh
And, he said,
my
and she
God.
said it
Oh
had
my
stayed
God.
there for like decades.
That's
Oh my God!
So
Did it ever make its way to her? Did she finally
don't
get
know.
it?
I don't
Oh my
remember.
God!
He must have been an unassuming.
unassuming, yeah, he was kind of like, that's just me being me.
Me being me and stuff. But
yes, the Grinch.
Grinch is fantastic.
That's always great.
That paired up with the Rankin Bass thing that I said.
Yeah.
Those are that's the 1-2 punch at Christmas.
Yeah,
So I really
absolutely.
love that.
Always the Grinch, you know. So
All right, folks. Well, we're going to say happy holidays. Hope you have a great holiday.
yeah,
Merry Christmas to everyone.
We're having fun, and that's what the main thing of this whole endeavor was, right?
Yeah,
if
it
you can
was.
grab
Yeah.
2 friends and have some fun and figure out a way to put it online, then you do it right now.
I just want to give a good holiday thank you to everybody who stuck with us. So I
Absolutely.
think it's great.
Thank you, the viewer.
Thank you, guys.
Yep. Follow us at the Fandom Outpost on social media. Check out our Facebook and Instagram pages and everywhere you get your podcast, Spotify, etc. And hopefully we'll see you all in the next year.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Merry Christmas, everyone. that was awesome. Oh, that was fun. Thank you so much.